Welcome to a new market update, and there's not really much happening, although if you're a day trader you can definitely trade Luna, as they have been announcing some new news, and the volatility on that specific altcoin is ridiculously high at this point. We're going to cover Bitcoin, we're going to cover the fact that the dollar is dropping down a little bit, and we're going to mark a few levels on Luna that you can watch if you want to trade at this point in time. But before we're going to continue, make sure to subscribe beneath, like this YouTube update, and check out my Twitter and Instagram where you can find daily content on the markets. When we're looking at the markets, we've seen that the dollar is dropping down a little bit. Risk on assets are waking up, and Bitcoin is also waking up and grinding a little bit higher and higher and higher. We have been making some levels and scenarios yesterday that we could be watching if we want to get a setup going on Bitcoin and if we want to get some momentum going on Bitcoin as well. That's what we're going to cover when we go towards TradingView. But more importantly is that during this period of time, the fear is extremely high. The price of Bitcoin is at 30k. Like in 2020, we didn't even were thinking of that fact of 30k happening at this point in time. But we are at 30k. We're down approximately 60% from the all-time high, which is a tremendous opportunity to actually DCA. However, when we get towards the lower points of the markets, it is usually the case that the majority are expecting the markets to turn south even more. Yesterday, I've been covering VeChain, I've been covering Chainlink and Veracity on my Twitter, and all of them are on higher time frame support resistance flips from the previous run. So they came all the way back down, which indicates that we are actually in some good entry points at this stage. And I've made some scenarios for them on Twitter, so definitely check them out there. But the point here is that right now, the fear and greed index, which is not really a variable that you should be using too much, but if you want to invest, it gives you a sign of what the majority is thinking at that point in time with the combination of price. It is at a number of 8, an 8 out of 100, so it's very low. And this level is the lowest point since the COVID-19 crash took place in March 2020. It says enough. It says that the current sentiment is ultra bad. UST has collapsed. Luna is going to potentially fork and wake up again, so the ecosystem will be starting to develop. That is fine. However, the actual collapse of Luna and the actual collapse of UST is giving some fear in the markets, as we've also been seeing that last week with the ultra fear towards the other stable coins, which caused a shock effect and potentially even causing USDT to get a very heavy pack loss, which is back towards 1 again. So slowly the fear is fading away and the dollar is dropping, which indicates that we could be having some momentum. But the point here is that because of that low fear and greed index, it is granting you opportunities. And yes, we could be going down to 24k. But when I was in the markets when Bitcoin dropped towards 28k, the expectations were also that we were going towards 20k. When I was in 2018, when we crashed to 3k, the expectations were, we potentially are going to retest 1.5, 1.8, and even the previous all-time high from 2014. We never did that. And we never know for sure whether we're going to test the bottom or whether we're going to test lower. All I can know is that we could be hitting those levels, which grants you a loss of 20 to 30%, which you could be using for DCA. But the upside for the next bull cycle, that is the massive point in time here. And especially if you get into a few altcoins, the upside is tremendous. So let's look at what Bitcoin is giving us at this point, as we're going to zoom in a little bit more, and we're going to dive into the DXY and Luna when we go towards TradingView. So when we are going towards TradingView, I've made this scenario previously, and the point here is that we've got a few crucial levels that we were watching. First of all, we were watching this low here, and I'll just zoom in a little bit more so you can see. We were watching this entire block, which is around 29.3. We started to drop down as we've lost these highs here, and then we started cascading south towards the bottom of the range, taking out all the lows here, which we have been doing. And we have been sweeping this low as well, through which we bounced back from 29.2. That is the level that I was watching. If we were losing the level here at 29.2, I was assuming that we were going to sweep the low around 28.72, and that would cause a drop towards 28k, resulting in this scenario to probably play out. Especially since we rejected that 30.1, that this entire block has lost its momentum here, and therefore we were going downwards again, but we stopped going down because this low sweep bounced back immediately. So we continue to grind upwards in a combination of the dollar showing weakness. If we continue to grind, which is very likely at this point as we are making this upwards trend, if we take out this high, it is very likely that we're going to take out these highs too, in which the first level I mark is 32.8, and we've got a level at 34k if we start accelerating even more, which is debatable, but I think that 32.8 is on the cards to actually have some momentum there. So when we're looking at the current price action, there's a questionable approach. We flip this level, so preferably you want to see it hold there. It's a really strange breakout, but if we sustain above this block around 29.9, we're going to make continuation if it is up to me, in which we start attacking this high around 31.1. Especially if we lose the block at 28.8, this uptrend is lost, and then we're going to take out these lows, and then I'm still having 28k on the cards before we continue moving. But I think that the upwards momentum is relatively there, especially when we're looking at the DXY, which is currently showing the scenario that I wanted it to be showing, which is taking out these highs, showing a bearish divergence, and turning around after that. If we zoom in a little bit more, this is my overall view on the DXY, and I'm expecting it to play out if we lose the level around 103.7. Right now we are back at the point that it started to break out. So if it is losing this level at 103.7, it drops back in the range. I'm expecting it to drop to 102.6, bounce a little bit, and then start continuing falling south, which is a scenario for Bitcoin to start making some momentum, especially since the yields are also making a south or a downwards drop, in which I'm expecting them to continue falling in the coming periods before we are going to have a big breakout on the yields again. So when we're looking at Luna, we've got all the momentum there, right? So we've already been seeing this massive volatility. I've been scalping it a little bit during the weekend. And when you're looking at the price action here, there is some tremendous opportunities that you could be looking at. All those bounces are on very important levels. We can see that this previous high has granted a few setups. We've lost the level here and went towards the next level of support, bounced there. This run was created by Do Kwon, and now we're just consolidating. Few levels that you should be marking if you want to start trading Luna, day trading wise. It is a little tricky as this update will be posted a little bit later, so just use it for your own reference. There are a few levels. First of all, we are currently on this level here, which is important. We can also see that we are attacking this resistance here, so we're basically inside a narrow range. If this block holds at 15, just make it 15, if that holds and we crack this high, we're going to flip the trend, as right now we are just downwards trending, right? If we break this one, we flip the trend, crack this high here, and then I'm assuming that we're going to make a test around this level or potentially around 31. So I'm watching this level for support. If it breaks this level, the flip is also going to grant continuation. If we do not hold the level around 15, I'm assuming we are going to make a new lower low and take out this low. So I'm watching this level here, but overall I'm going to watch the level around 90 to see whether we're going to have some support there. And then I'm expecting us to play something like this. And then I'm going to trigger along at this stage in which we're targeting 16, which is another run of approximately 70%. That's the update for today. I'll be back tomorrow with another update. I'll also be back potentially later today if there's volatility. Don't do stupid shit. Make sure to subscribe and eat. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. Ciao.